German submarine U-74 was a Type 7B U-boat of Nazi Germany's Kriegsmarine, laid down on the 5th of November 1939 at the Bremer Vulcan shipyard in Bremen-Wegessack. She was launched on the 31st of August 1940 and commissioned 2 months later on the 31st of October under the command of Kapitänleutnant Eitel-Friedrich Kentrat. The Type 7B class was an enhancement of the earlier Type 7A design, providing greater fuel capacity, improved speed, and better handling. U-74 had a displacement of 753 tons surfaced and 857 tons submerged. She measured 66.5 meters in length with a pressure hull length of 48.8 meters, a beam of 6.2 meters, and a draft of 4.74 meters. The boat was equipped with 2 MAN diesel engines producing up to 3,200 horsepower for surface travel and 2 BBC electric motors for submerged propulsion. Additionally, she was fitted with one 8.8 centimeters naval deck gun with 220 rounds and a 2 centimeters anti-aircraft gun. Depending on the mission, her crew complement varied between 44 and 60 men. During her service, U-74 conducted 8 war patrols, during which she sank 4 enemy ships with a total tonnage of 25,619 gross register tons, GRT, and damaged 2 others totaling 11,525 GRT. She participated in 3 Wolfpack operations, West, Brandenburg, and Raubritta, between May and November 1941. U-74 embarked on her first patrol on the 5th of March 1941, departing from Kiel and moving through Helgoland and Bergen before heading into the North Atlantic. On the 3rd of April 1941, she successfully sank the Greek merchant vessel Leonidas Z. Cambanis and later engaged the British armed merchant cruiser HMS Worcestershire. Although she had damaged the warship, she lacked the torpedoes to finish the job and was forced to retreat. The patrol concluded at Saint-Nazaire in occupied France on the 11th of April. Her second patrol proved more perilous. While targeting convoy HX-126 northwest of Greenland in May 1941, she was counter-attacked by the British corvette HMS Verbena and destroyer HMS Burnham, which dropped over 100 depth charges. Severely damaged, U-74 had to abort the mission. On her way back, she narrowly escaped a torpedo attack from the British submarine HMS Celian on the 29th of May before returning safely to Lorient. Perhaps the most historically significant moment of U-74's career came during the dramatic events following the sinking of the German battleship Bismarck. On the 27th of May 1941, U-74 was dispatched to locate the wreck and recover the ship's war diary. Upon arrival, she encountered only debris and the bodies of drowned sailors. Nevertheless, she managed to rescue 3 Bismarck crew members, Georg Herzog, Otto Hünsch, and Herbert Manthe, who became some of the first survivors to report the circumstances of the great battleship's demise. U-74's third patrol began in late July 1941 and saw her return to hunting convoys in the North Atlantic. On the 5th of August, she torpedoed and sank the merchant vessel Cumasion west of Ireland. The patrol ended successfully when she returned to Saint-Nazaire on the 12th of August. On her 4th patrol, starting the 8th of September, U-74 struck again. On the 19th of September, she sank the Canadian corvette HMCS Levis east of Cape Farewell, Greenland. The following day, she took down the SS Empire Burton, a British catapult-armed merchantman. These successes demonstrated the continued effectiveness of the Type 7B U-boats in disrupting Allied shipping lines. U-74's 5th patrol in November 1941 involved a significant long-range attack. On the 7th of November, she set out into the Atlantic and 5 days later torpedoed the British motor vessel Nottingham about 550 nautical miles southeast of Greenland. The Nottingham was on her maiden voyage from Glasgow to New York. The attack was deadly. None of the crew survived. U-74 returned to base at Saint-Nazaire shortly after the sinking, adding another victim to her growing tally. Her 6th patrol marked a bold shift in the operational theatre. Departing Saint-Nazaire on the 9th of December 1941, U-74 navigated through the heavily defended Strait of Gibraltar. This was no small feat, given the concentration of Allied anti-submarine forces in the area. On the 16th of December, she successfully passed through into the Mediterranean and arrived at the Italian port of La Spezia on Christmas Eve. The 7th Patrol began shortly after New Year's Day 1942, with U-74 moving between Sicily and mainland Italy to monitor British activity around Alexandria. She returned to La Spezia on the 8th of January without engaging enemy vessels. The 8th and final patrol of U-74 began in late April 1942 with a critical assignment. She was tasked with intercepting Allied aircraft carriers operating in the western Mediterranean. However, before reaching her target, she was diverted to assist the crippled U-573, which had been heavily damaged by air attacks. On the 1st of May, while en route off the coast of Spain, U-74 was spotted and bombed by a Lockheed Hudson from NUT 233 Squadron RAF. Although the bombs failed to cause significant damage, the incident exposed her position. Later that evening, the British submarine HMS Unbroken fired torpedoes at U-74, but she again evaded destruction. Her luck finally ran out the next morning. On the 2nd of May 1942, U-74 was located and attacked east-southeast of Cartagena, Spain, by the British destroyers HMS Wishart and HMS Wrestler. The destroyers used depth charges and the newly introduced Hedgehog anti-submarine mortar system. This time, the attack was fatal. U-74 was destroyed with all hands. 47 men were lost, and there were no survivors. The location of the wreck remains undisclosed to this day, lying silent in the Mediterranean depths. The story of U-74 encapsulates the danger and intensity of submarine warfare during the Battle of the Atlantic and the wider naval campaigns of World War II. From hunting convoys in icy North Atlantic waters to dodging destroyers and bombers in the warmer Mediterranean, U-74's journey reflects both the technological might and the human vulnerability of submarine operations. Her participation in the search for survivors of the Bismarck links her to one of the most dramatic episodes of the war at sea, and her eventual destruction underscores the mounting effectiveness of Allied anti-submarine tactics by 1942. Like many of her kind, U-74 served with deadly efficiency, but her fate serves as a reminder of the high stakes and heavy costs of submarine warfare.